Hey guys, what is going on? Anthony here with Pistons Talk. Hope you guys are having a great Friday so far. It's the weekend, man. Thank God it's here. Uh, Speaking of that, this weekend we are going to be doing a Q&A Detroit Pistons podcast. So if you guys have any questions you want to ask me and you want me to answer live on the podcast, go over to our community tab, submit your questions, and I will put your questions on the screen for everybody to see, and we'll talk about it on the podcast this Sunday. But while you guys are here, there is some free agency news with your Detroit Pistons. Now, this report is coming from the Philadelphia Inquirer, and their beat reporter, Keith Pompey, had reported some news that I think a lot of you guys will be interested in, and we're going to go over and read what he had to say. Now, the reason why we're on a Charlotte Hornets Sports Illustrated article is, I'll tell you a couple things why. One, I'm not paying to read a Philadelphia Inquirer article. I'm a Piston fan. I'm not a Philly fan. And two, I'm cheap. I'm not paying $1 for 6 months for another article subscription. I'm just not. I miss the good old days when you could read an article and they're not asking you for money for a subscription. That's just, you can't even read an article nowadays. But hey man, I sound like an old man yelling at the clouds right now, right? Why you guys are here? The free agent that the Detroit Pistons do have some interest in. Well, we'll read it right here. It says, according to Keith Pompey of the Philadelphia Inquirer, the Cleveland Cavaliers, Charlotte Hornets, Detroit Pistons, Miami Heat, New Orleans Pelicans, and the Minnesota Timberwolves have shown interest in the 34-year-old forward Marcus Morris Sr. Now, you guys probably remember Marcus Morris. He was on the 2016, I want to say, Stan Van Gundy, 44 and 38 Detroit Pistons roster when we had like Reggie Jackson, KCP, Andre Drummond, Tobias Harris, if you will. So Marcus Morris is 34. The Pistons and several other teams around the league do have some interest in Marcus Morris. Now, there was a quote from the Philadelphia Inquirer that did speak with Marcus Morris, and Sports Illustrated was kind enough to put the quote in their article that they are citing. And it says, quote, "I'm not trying to overdo anything," Morris told the Inquirer. "I know the game. I've been around 14 years. I'm still playing. I just want to come in, help a team, be a voice, a vet, and still compete at a high level. I also want to be somewhere I already know what the team needs. I want to be a piece that's versatile, playing, starting, or either coming off the bench, and helping younger guys and things like that." Now, the Pistons still do have a available roster spot. There's still a lot of debates among you guys whether it's going to be rim protection center, backup point guard, stuff like that. When I look at the Pistons' current situation, and we look at the small forwards and the power forwards, because I think Marcus Morris could play both. Kind of depends on matchups, right? He's been here before. He was here 8 years ago when the Pistons won 44 games and they were at 8 seed against the Cleveland Cavaliers and LeBron James and Kyrie Irving that eventually did get swept. But he was part of a team that was winning basketball games. He was part of a team that Tobias Harris was a part of, and Pistons actually signed Tobias Harris this year for 2 years. And in the quote, he talked about, being a voice, being a vet, and also helping younger guys and things like that. Obviously, the Pistons have gone out and they've targeted vets like a Tobias, like a Tim Hardaway Jr., Paul Reed, Malik Beasley, if you will. I wouldn't be opposed if the Pistons want to go after and sign Marcus Morris for maybe a vet minimum or, a couple $1,000,000 here and there. The Pistons still have available cap space to spend. I think after Bobby Klitman's deal becomes official, they'll still have around $10 million to spend to bring in free agents. I think as a veteran and a presence, Marcus Morris understands what it takes to win. He understands what it is like to play for the Detroit Pistons. So I think he could have a voice in the locker room that a lot of the young guys would listen to and respect because he's actually played for a winning team. Now, obviously, you guys can like say the 44-38 Detroit Pistons team in 2016 wasn't a winning team. They had a winning record. They had a winning record. They were a couple games over 500. Obviously, maybe some people don't really like talking about that year because we eventually did get a 4-game sweep against LeBron James. But I mean, what team hasn't, right? I would not be opposed if the Pistons really want to go after and sign another veteran at the forward position. Now, I don't know in terms of how much playing time he would get because he did mention in the quote whether he's starting or coming off the bench. The Pistons have quite a bit of forwards if you kind of look at like their depth chart. They have Simone Fontecchio, who they traded for last year. They drafted Asar Thompson in last year's draft. They just drafted Ron Holland, Bobby Clintman, Tobias Harris. Like, I don't really know where the minutes would come from in terms of playing time for Marcus Morris. But if he would be okay coming to Detroit and kind of playing that Taj Gibson role last season that we saw of just being on the bench, helping the young guys, giving them that confidence that maybe they didn't know they needed, I would be welcoming to that as a Piston fan. But just wanted to give you guys a quick little update about the Pistons having some internal interest in going after Marcus Morris this free agency. But talk to me down below in the comment section what you guys think. Would you be open to bringing back Marcus Morris to the Detroit Pistons? Or do you want the Pistons to try to fill that backup point guard spot, possibly get a rim protection center, or maybe there's another position in need you think the Pistons need to address with the remaining $10 million in cap space? Talk to me down below in the comments section, and we'll discuss it down there. Like always, hope you guys are staying safe, take care, and hope you guys have a great weekend. Peace.